The General Aviation News says that in 1980 there were 827,000 pilots in the USA. In 2011, there were just about 617,000. That's a steep decline in the number of pilots. In 2006, there were 2,700 new full-size aircraft delivered in the USA. In 2013, there were just 700. Those are very, very steep declines in aviation. Flight Global, another publication, says UK CAA figures show that activity at schools and aerodromes has fallen by 40% since 2005. That very closely mirrors what we see at our own airfield. I had some figures here which show that, it says here, by PricewaterhouseCoopers have done some work, and full-size aviation has experienced a 74% decline in the last 7 years. A 74% decline in 7 years. At the Tokoroa Airfield, we've seen a 71% decline in the same period of time. We've gone from 7 active pilots to 2. So, if you look at those figures, you've got to realise that aviation is really sort of a dead-end street for this airfield. It's getting less and less all the time. And even aero clubs around New Zealand, the Mercury Bay Aero Club report, their 2014 AGM, said that in 2012, their aircraft did 109 hours. In 2013, their club aircraft did 59 hours. In 2014, 35 hours. You can see the trend here. Aviation is dying, people can't afford it. And Tokoroa is a low decile town. There are not many people in this town who can afford an aircraft or the luxury of flying. In fact, there was a meeting here at the council last week or the week before when we had members of the Tokoroa Aero Club, all the airfield users, sit around the table. And I asked how many people at that table had flown from the Tokoroa Airfield in the last 6 months. 2 hands went up. Those are the 2 people who use the airfield. Now, one of those doesn't use the sealed runway. He uses the grass runway all the time. So the council wants us to believe that it's worthwhile spending $250,000 for the benefit of one ratepayer. And I think that's a little bit obscene. We've got farmers here who are crying out for rates relief to the tune of $200,000. Why are we going to spend $250,000 on an asset that no one's using when the farmers are saying, hey, please, let us have the benefit of that? It makes no sense to me. Farming is 52% of the value of the area. Why not give it to them? Better than wasting it on a strip of bitumen in the middle of a paddock. Now, we've had a status quo approach to the airfield for as long as I've been here. I came here in 2003, and the airfield has just sat there. It's been a book entry, nothing has been done. And that's why, one of the reasons we see such steep decline. And I think it's time we actually leverage this asset for the benefit of the community. And that means, one example that I put in my submission, a drone hub technology. Now, that PricewaterhouseCoopers thing that I was talking about, that report, they have some very interesting information there. Now, this isn't just, everyone knows who PricewaterhouseCoopers are, large accounting firms, so don't listen to me, listen to them. They say the value of the drone industry and drone-based services is expected to grow to $127 billion by 2020. That is a 1,600% increase, 1,600% increase in 4 years. Compare that to the 71 or 74% globally decrease or decline in the aviation industry in the last 7 years. I think it's easy to see which plane is coming down and which plane is going up. So are we going to hitch our wagon to general aviation, which is in such steep decline that we now only have one person that uses that runway? Or are we going to hitch it to an industry that's in such steep ascent that CAA, speaking to CAA, they cannot keep up with the applications for certifications for drones, unmanned aircraft. They are rushed with their feet. So I think it's pretty clear. It's very hard to justify spending all that money on a piece of bitumen in the middle of a paddock. Certainly at this stage, when if you spent that money encouraging drone businesses to the airfield, and they've already come, we've already had businesses come and express great interest. But the council's attitude is very much status quo. It's an airfield, that's the way it stays. That's driving people away. I was contacted by Flirty. Now, Flirty is a company that has just conducted the first certified drone delivery in the USA. It's a big step. They have federal aviation certification to make the first drone delivery in the USA. They want to set up a base in New Zealand. They came to me, said, what do you reckon? What about Tokoroa? I said, well, I can't really say anything at this stage because no one wants to do anything. The doors aren't open. The doors aren't open. There's no one saying, yes, let's turn this into a drone hub. Let's get businesses coming here and creating opportunities for locals. And of course, a drone industry is a diversification. We don't have them at the moment. We're reliant on dairy, to the tune of 52% by the sound of it, and forestry. And these are big industries, but they're very cyclical. Look at the farmers, they're really on the bones of their farm right now. And that really reflects into the general business community. CBD is empty because farmers can't spend any money, they don't have any. We need other industries to fill in the gaps. And one of those industries could be the drone industry. Because we have all the elements necessary to set that up and make it work. All we need is a council that's willing to help and willing to, basically foster that interest. And really, you've got to roll out the welcome mat. It's all very well sitting there waiting for people to come and knock on your door, but this is a competitive, everything's competitive. We have to go and sell ourselves to the drone industry. And we have to be proactive because there are plenty of other centres who will be pitching for that. But we have all the individual elements we need for success. And that's really important. So if we don't realise that potential, it's really kind of a bit of disappointment. Again, because I've been here for 2 years, I've done 2 presentations, and everything I've said about decline has come to pass. And everything else seems to be following exactly the path I suggested it would. So we need to focus on that right now and get started straight away and do something about it. And that is probably going to do more than any of the other stuff. And I know the council is very interested in training. They do trade training for driving, welding. I think it was going to be building, but I think that fell through with pension housing. So the council has already set a mark. It says, yes, we will help with training. We're very keen on training our young people and training people and providing training services. So again, this perfectly matches the council's perspective on things. We're going to create jobs for our young people. We're going to give them an opportunity to train in an industry that is growing by 16,000% before the end of the decade. 1,600% before the end of the decade. So it's very hard not to accept that opportunity. Any questions? Yes.
Councillor Bell, Councillor Lee.
Mr. Simpson, you've been talking for a while about how the idea of a drone industry would be a sure thing, how you're getting lots of money, you've got millions of followers and everything. It begs the question, with all this money you've got, why you don't buy a paddock somewhere and set up this drone industry if you think there's so much money to be made.
I don't have all this money. I have $40,000 a year from the people that we're going to set up a model park. But the thing is that the very thing that makes this viable is the fact that we have a full-size airfield.
Well, if you have a good business plan and it's so good, then surely you could get some money from the fund.
But there's no point in doing. Why would you reinvent the wheel? We still have an airfield that's not being used. Why not leverage the assets we have? That makes more sense. The council has $1 million asset that is sitting there rotting away.
Well, that's not really a concern if you get.
It is as a right part.
Just to clarify, if the drone industry was saying we utilise the airfield as we have it, why would they need an airfield for drones?
Because part of the important part of drone training is teaching them to fly in an environment where there could be full-size aircraft. That's one of the key safety issues.
Okay, so that for the drone industry to take place, we still need the airfield.
The airfield would still be there. You're not going to roll it up and take it away.
Because you do suggest in there that we could sell it for dairy land.
Well, that's one of the options, because at the moment it's $1 million asset and we're not even getting into it. It's
Right,
costing.
so that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. And then, Councillor Lee.
Hi, Bruce. Council actually had an economic development officer, and you were actually saying that people will be coming to you. Why don't you send them to him with their ideas so then he can develop it, as opposed to going to you and then you block all that?
Look, they come to me because I am the face of the airfield, right? And they ask me questions, I give them answers, and the council has basically said that at this point they're not prepared to delist the airfield to facilitate this operation. And I know for a fact that some of the initiatives I've had in the past been blocked. I've been told by the CEO I may not conduct my lawful business at the airfield on one occasion. There's a wall, a hostile wall between what could happen and the thing. And sending people off to council, it's not good. I can't see it being any benefit because I've seen no positive response from us.
But we've actually made that position earlier this year. So his job is actually to find those people that you're talking about, to actually bring all that together. So when they come to you, you should be sending them to him so that then he can action those sorts of things, because he's the person in the council that you need to actually talk to get those businesses up and running. And that's what we need. There's no two ways about it.
Well, given it's the council's initiative or council's responsibility effectively to do that liaison, why hasn't this guy come to me and said, hey, I hear you've been getting approaches from people around the world, how can we help you? One of the problems I've found, as most people know around the table, because I can't seem to make any changes through the submission process and from the outside, I'm running for mayor, and since I've said that, so many people have come to me and have expressed their concerns that the council doesn't try and help so much as throw up the roadblocks. So many business people have come to me and complained about the situation with council. Every time we want to do something, we can't, the council doesn't cooperate, it obstructs. And I'm thinking, well, you know, a lot of those probably just sour grapes, but